So my name is Brett Holland. I'm with Stifel Financial. My business partner, Mike Battistelli, sitting to my right here. And then we have Peter. I can never say your last name. Deakos, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go wrong there.
No, thank you.
He's a
That's
portfolio
good.
manager with Dearborn Investments. And then also Brian Payne, who's a director with Dearborn as well. Brian's been here a few other times as well.
Welcome back.
Dearborn,
Thank
they
you.
manage about 13.5% of the pension, and they're going to make some comments on their portfolio. Also, just want to say congratulations to each of you on your recent wins in the election as well. The report you have in front of you is the normal report that we go through, so if I can ask you to turn to page 4 of 11, if you would. And this is just kind of our normal report that we go through. And on the top left-hand side up there is our performance numbers. And this is, again, for July 1st through September 30th is what it is for the last quarter. And under current period there, the beginning balance of the pension fund was $132,273,169. And then we had a decline during that time of about $4.6 million, and also withdrawals of about $2.7 million. So the ending balance at the end of the period, of the end of the quarter, was $124,891,512. And then you can see the year-to-date number next to that, which would be just January 1st through the end of September. And just for sake of time there, the performance during the last 9 months was the 5.12%, if you see that underneath there. Moving to the right-hand bottom corner, if you will, is kind of our allocation. And Mike's going to talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but just kind of to highlight it right now, at least anyhow, our cash equivalents there is showing 2%. Again, Mike's going to comment on that a little bit more. Our equities, moving clockwise around there, our equities are at 65%. Fixed income or bonds is at 28%. And then the alternative investments are currently at 6%, which again, that's the REIT portfolio is what that is. Any questions on that at all? And we just want to make one small recommendation, then we'll move to one more page. In your investment policy statement, that's the piece that we review each year. Actually, that'll be coming up here in the next few months here that we'll review that again. And that just kind of gives the parameters for what percentage is in stocks and bonds and cash and things like that. And it allows some latitude in there, and we've always remained or stayed inside the bounds of that. But we'd like to rebalance the portfolio by pulling about $3 million and moving that into some fixed income, into some of your bond portfolio. We've allowed the equities to kind of run up over the last few years, and that's benefited the pension fund. But we'd like to pull about $3 million, which would be around 2% of the portfolio. So a silly example, I always say each year you don't go out and dig out your landscaping every spring and replant your bushes. You just kind of prune them. And this is just a pruning of the bushes, essentially, is what it is. So we're just kind of bringing things back in line a little bit. Just to give you an idea, part of the reason for that is the bonds, with what's taken place with interest rates over the last 18 months, a lot of bonds now you can buy at about 93 cents on the dollar. So we're trying to take advantage of that. That hasn't been the case for the last 15 years, basically. But we have that opportunity now, and we want to try to take advantage of just shifting a few dollars over to that, if you all would be acceptable of that.
Sounds good.
Okay. Then one other page, we'll have you go to page 6, if you will, and then Mike will give some more up-to-date details. So page 6, on the right-hand side there at the top, you see 1, 3, 5, and 10-year periods. And if you go to the bottom line is the total. So a 1-year return over the last 12 months is 12.33%. A 3-year return is 3.96%, and that's per year. A 5-year period is 4.85%, and the 10-year number is 5.93% is what that is. So that's a little longer perspective. So with that, Mike's going to give some more up-to-date numbers as of just the last couple days.
Before I do that, any questions regarding what?
I guess I don't really have one, but once in a while I ask, what's the assumption? Is it 7.25? Is that
I believe it's 7.25, I believe.
Is that right?
Is
Well,
it fine?
I know it's dangerous to move around, but we obviously haven't been near that. But it does have an adverse to the required deposit, so I guess I'll just keep that number in my head and hope we get closer to it.
Well, one thing good you all have done is you've been consistent in contributing and making deposits into the fund. So had you not been doing that over the last number of years, that definitely has a negative effect.
Yeah, I think we're over a decade.
Correct, yes, sir,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully they improve the 911 fee, we may have to trim that back, I
That's true. Stay close.
don't know. That was sarcasm.
You said that in jest, right?
Yes. Nobody's laughing.
We don't want any any follow-ups. No follow-ups. Yeah. Okay, we'll go right to Mike.
I'm going to provide the up-to-date numbers. This is through yesterday. And again, these, I always caution, these are not audited numbers until we get into a finalized report like that. But through yesterday, the balance on the pension account is $127,687,239. And we are up now 8.63%. So we really had a challenging third quarter, as you know, illustrated there by Brett's numbers. These gentlemen will probably touch on that a little bit, but you know, the Fed recently came out and did not raise rates at the end of October, maybe signaling that they might be done with interest rate movements, possibly, depending on what data shows going forward. And I think since November 1st, the market's really responded, and it's, you know, shown here. So regarding the allocation, it's pretty much the same. I do want to point out, I know in this report it shows there's about a 2% position in cash. That's pure cash. That's cash that's cash. But our managers also hold some cash. One particularly, I think we've had Washington Crossing, and I think they were in August. So really the cash position is really a little over 6.25%, or about $8 million. And the reason I wanted to point that out is, you know, a good example the last 3 months, when we've had to provide distributions to the pensionees, we weren't having to go sell things when the market was down. We had cash on hand. And I think that's really important. You know, had we had to sell things when they were down, we don't get the recovery we just had in the last couple of weeks. So strategically, we've kind of just held on to more cash, and the managers have as well. So I just wanted to point that out.
Any questions for Mike or Brett? No. We get to my favorite part.